Hey guys, I'm back to give you some more information. Remember, we were talking about defenses to the formation of contract and how you can use that to repair your credit. Well, I now can give you a better explanation on defenses to the formation of a contract and how you can apply it to removing negative information or incomplete information from your credit report. So remember the defenses. The first one was, I remember the acronym Farm Music D, but the first defense to formation of a contract is fraud. Then the next one is ambiguity. And then after that is parole evidence rule. Then after that is mistake. Or, and after that is modification, unconscionability, and also whether it meets the statute of fraud. The statute of fraud is just a doctrine that says that certain types of contract must be in writing for it to be valid. There's contracts that is valid orally, but there's some in which the law states that it prefers it to be in writing unless there is some exception to it. Then after that is illegality. Let's say the bank basically enter into a contract, or you attempt to enter into a contract with you think there's a contract, but the subject matter of the contract is for an illegal purpose, like signing away certain rights that the law provides you that you cannot waive, but the bank is telling you to waive and put it in the contract. That may be a defense to a formation of a contract, meaning there's no contract because it's illegal. And then there's capacity, whether the person have the capacity to enter into a contract. Usually it requires for the person, the other person, the person that doesn't have the illness, to have the knowledge that the other person does not have the capacity, and the capacity could be age capacity or whether it's mental defect, or something like that. And then the other one is duress. So that's the defense to formation, meaning no contract was formed. And then there's some other sets of defenses. The other sets of defenses is excuse for performance. So now these defenses is saying, hey, there is a contract, but you're excused from performing what you said you were going to do, what you contracted to do, what you're obligated to do, or you're supposed to be obligated to do based on the contract that was entered into. Now there's a defense to that, and the defense can start with impracticability. It's impractical to do something. It's difficult, severely difficult, economically difficult, to do so. And then there's substantial performance, where you substantially perform. You didn't complete your performance, but you substantially perform. And there's a waiver or impossibility, which states it's impossible to perform what you said you're going to perform. And modification, then there's frustration of purpose. So let's say you go to I'm going to use an outlandish example. I've never used it before, but it just popped in my mind. The example of frustration of purpose is where you go to a doctor, and you enter into a contract to remove a lump or something like that, or a hospital, and to remove or to have some kind of medical procedure. And you went there, entered into contract, and so forth to pay. Then you went back and you found out that that illness that you have is no longer there. So basically the reason in which you wanted to have the procedure no longer exists, So there is a frustration of purpose, and you're no longer obligated to pay. I wanted to use that example because a lot of people came to me with co-pays. There's a lot of co-pays on people's credit report. And that's something that you should look into, whether the hospital performed that duty properly. Basically, whether they did what they're supposed to do, whether you healed properly, and all that stuff. Basically, you can look into as a defense to get that copay off your credit report, because hospital likes to do it. Same thing with phone companies. Phone companies like to report a balance. When you switch from them to another, you have a lot of $250 charge or $500 charge. I think the two business entities that like to do that is phone companies and hospitals or doctors. I noticed that of my many years doing this. So I think frustration of purpose and impossibility are relevant to those things. And then there's an occurrence of a condition. Something's supposed to happen before or after you make payment. Divisibility, anticipatory repudiation, voluntary disablement, estoppel, or wrongful prevention. Basically. So these are some excuses to performance, and they're applicable to helping you get negative items off your credit report. So it's not just the Fair Credit Reporting Act that provides you rights for, to make sure your credit is what it should be, the best it can be, but also contract law helps you with that, and remedies help you with that. But today, it's contract law. And contract law helps you to get that negative information, that debt on their reporting, get it off. Not only is it off your credit reporting, off your credit report, you also don't have liability anymore. So don't always think when something is off your credit report, you're not liable anymore. I specifically focus on both of them when I help people with credit problem and debt problem. I look at how I can eliminate the debt legally without them having to pay. And I also look at how I can get the negative information off the credit report. So that's two services in one: liability removal, debt deletion, and credit report repair, removing negative information from the credit report. Those are what I do. So this now is some of the defenses, some of the tactics, legal tactics that you can use to better your credit report. Thank you for listening, and subscribe to my channel. Enjoy the view.